Have you ever experienced something like this? I tried to help. Why does she feel uncomfortable? I'm grateful. But why do I feel so frustrated? Explores today's the delicate emotional connection between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, a problem that plagues many families. This is a warm and realistic story, reconstructed from a real family experience about how small acts of goodwill can create a huge emotional wall, and how that wall can be broken down. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Your small interest will help us create better content. Then let's start now. Yoon Jung Lee is a housewife who has been married for 3 years. I live with my husband, Minjin, in a small apartment on the outskirts of Seoul. The two were an ordinary but happy couple who cared for each other. My mother-in-law, Park Soon-ja, lived alone in the countryside. After her husband passed away early, she spent her entire life raising a son. Even after my son got married and became independent, I would visit his house in Seoul 2 or 3 times a month. At first, Yoon Jung was happy about her mother-in-law's visit. I think the elderly person living alone must be lonely, so it would be nice to have them come often and spend time together. My mother-in-law always came with something in her hand. Homemade kimchi, fresh vegetables from the countryside, and carefully prepared side dishes. Yoon Jung, you must be busy, but I made this for you. Eat comfortably while I'm cooking, was the mother-in-law's affection for her daughter-in-law. Yoon Jung was also really grateful at first. It wasn't easy to juggle work and housework, but my mother-in-law's help was a huge help. But the problems started little by little, very little by little. My mother-in-law couldn't sit still when she came to my son's house. You were always doing something. He would open the refrigerator and say, "Oh no, this is already spoiled," and start organizing. When there was laundry hanging, he would say, "It's better if you open it like this," and then open it again. When Yoon Jung was cooking in the kitchen, he watched from the side and said, he advised, "You have to fry that first. The liver tastes better this way." Sometimes he even reached out and did the cooking for me. "Mother, I'll do it." "No, it's hard for you. I'll do it." The mother-in-law was truly trying to help her. As someone who has been doing housework my entire life, I wanted to teach you a more efficient and clean way. She didn't want to see her daughter-in-law suffer and wanted to share her experiences. But Yoon Jung's heart grew heavier and heavier. The first time or two, I thought, this is advice from someone with a lot of experience. Even 3 or 4 times, to it. I said, "You are trying to help me, so I should be grateful." But as this continued, Yoon Jung soon found herself unable to feel comfortable even in her own home. Every time I opened the refrigerator, I worried, what will my mother say when she sees this? Is this the right thing? Every time I hung up and lost my confidence. I always felt nervous when I was cooking because it felt like someone was watching me from behind. This is my house, and I have my own way of doing things. Began to build in Yoon Jung's mind. But it wasn't easy to put it into words. My mother-in-law clearly had good intentions, but calling it inconvenient felt like ungrateful. So Yoon Jung just endured it. He showed subtle discomfort with his facial expression and body language, but he only said, "Yes, thank you." My mother-in-law also felt the change. My daughter-in-law's expression wasn't as bright as it used to be, and the warmth in her voice seemed to have disappeared when she answered. Even when he smiled, something felt awkward and his eyes looked tired. What did I do wrong? I was just trying to help. The mother-in-law was upset. I couldn't understand why my daughter-in-law seemed uncomfortable when I was working hard for her and my son. I wondered if he might be feeling burdened. But I couldn't avoid going to my son's house. An invisible wall began to form between the two. Unspoken emotions floated in the air, creating an increasingly thick barrier. Then one day, a small incident occurred. On the day her mother-in-law visited, Yoon Jung served food in a new bowl. It was a plate with a design that I really liked, and I felt good because it was my first time using it. But my mother-in-law was washing the dishes, and when she saw the plate, she said, "This bowl looks a bit big and heavy. I don't think it would be convenient to use every day." It may have been a meaningless remark, but Yoon felt something surge up in her mind at that moment. I felt like I was being evaluated for the things I chose and the things I liked. "Yes," and went into the room, answered briefly. My mother-in-law finished the remaining dishes with a puzzled expression. That evening, her husband, Minjin, noticed that his wife's eyes were different than usual. It seemed like he had something he wanted to say, but he couldn't seem to get it out easily. "Honey, what's wrong?" In response to Minjin's cautious question, opening her mouth. "Your mother said I really appreciate it." But honestly, Yoon's voice trembled. "It's my house, but I don't feel at all. I feel like I can't do things my way, like I'm being judged. No matter what I do," and it was only after hearing his wife's words that Minjin began to understand the situation. "I only saw my mother trying to help her daughter-in-law. I never thought about what that help would mean to my wife." In fact, Minjin also felt that the atmosphere at home became strangely tense on days when his mother visited. My wife, who usually laughed and chatted comfortably, seemed cautious and spoke less when my mother was around. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." Minjin held his wife's hand. "But what should I do? What should I tell my mom?" That night, the two talked late into the night. Yoon carefully released the emotions that had been building up over time. Instead of blaming my mother-in-law, I told her my honest feelings. "I'm not saying your mother is bad. He is a really nice person and I know he works hard for us, but I still want to try to do it if I fail, even if I'm still clumsy. So I want to learn through my own experiences." Minjin nodded. I understood what my wife said. My mother was a lifelong housewife, but my wife was now in the process of building her own family. In the process, even if you are clumsy and make mistakes, the experience of trying it yourself is important. I'll try to tell Mom, but it wasn't as easy as it sounds. How can I convey my wife's position without hurting my mother's feelings? A few days later, my mother-in-law came to visit again. "This time, you brought a lot of homemade kimchi." As soon as I opened the front door, he spoke with a bright face. "Yoon, I just made some new radish kimchi, and it's really delicious. I brought it for you to eat." "Thank you, Mother." Yoon couldn't hide the awkwardness of it. My mother-in-law felt it too. The air was heavy as we had lunch together. As usual, the mother-in-law took care of this and that, and Yoon answered, yes, but there was an invisible distance between them. After finishing dinner and washing the dishes, my mother-in-law opened the refrigerator, and then he started taking out the side dishes inside one by one and checking them. "I should throw this away. It's old. If you store it like this, quickly and you'll need to replace the container." Watch the dishes. I bit my lips hard and tried to hold it in, but in the end I couldn't hold it in anymore. "Mother." Yoon's voice trembled. "I'll do it." "Huh? What?" "I'll clean out." My mother-in-law was startled. I felt something different from usual in my daughter-in-law's voice. "Oh, really? Then Yoon My mother-in-law closed the refrigerator door and awkwardly came out into the living room. I felt something was off about the atmosphere, but I didn't know what to say. The look of disappointment on my mother-in-law's face as she sat in the living room was evident. I was trying to help, so why are you being so stiff? What did I do wrong? At that moment, Minjin left work. He immediately sensed the chilly atmosphere inside the house and realized he couldn't delay any longer. Mom, I need to talk to you for a minute. Minjin took his mother to a nearby cafe. As the two sat down, the mother-in-law spoke first. Minjin, what did Mom do wrong? There was a hint of resentment in her mother-in-law's voice. Yoon-jong seems uncomfortable with Mom. So Mom tried to help. Minjun grabbed his mother's hand. And then I started speaking carefully, but honestly. Mom, Yoon-jong isn't uncomfortable with you. She doesn't think you're bad either. Then, Yoon-jong wants to do it her own way. Even if I'm clumsy and make mistakes, I want to learn through my own experiences. Minjun carefully relayed what his wife had said. My mother-in-law sat in silence for a long time, saying that although she was grateful for her mother-in-law's help, sometimes it lowered her confidence and made her feel like she didn't belong even in her own home. His eyes seemed to be turning red, but he held them back. I see. Mother-in-law's voice grew smaller. Mom, you really were trying to help, but you ended up burdening me instead. Mom, that's not it. No, Yoon-jong is right. Being too pushy. The mother-in-law sighed. Now you understand how your actions were perceived by your daughter-in-law. That evening, the mother-in-law returned to her son's house. Yoon-jong welcomed her mother with an anxious heart. I was worried that maybe my mother was hurt that I was being too rude. But my mother-in-law's face was surprisingly calm. Rather, he even had a smile on his face. Yoon-jong, the mother-in-law, said, taking her daughter-in-law's hand. I'm sorry, Mom. I guess I was too nosy. Mother, I really wanted to think about your situation. You're the owner of this house now. And you should do things your way. But your mother is too much. Yoon-jong's eyes turned red. My mother-in-law's sincere apology brought out all the emotions that had been building up. Mother, I'm the one who's sorry. My mother really works hard for us, but I think I took it too seriously. No, it's your mother's fault. You felt that way. The two sat there, holding hands for a long time. It was a moment when emotions that could not be expressed in words were conveyed to each other. From that day on, things began to change little by little. Even when my mother-in-law came to my son's house, she didn't touch things like she used to. Even if you wanted to open the refrigerator, you held back, and even if the laundry was an eyesore, you just passed by. Even while watching my daughter-in-law cook, I suppressed the urge to offer advice. It wasn't easy at first, because it felt awkward to stop doing things I had done like a habit my whole life. My hands were itchy and my mouth was ticklish. Thoughts like, that shouldn't be done, like that, and it would be easier if it were like this, kept coming to my mind, but my mother-in-law endured it. Because you realize that your daughter-in-law's comfort is more important than your own needs. Yoon-jong has also changed. I feel much more at ease now that my mother-in-law no longer intrudes on my territory. At the same time, I started to see how much my mother-in-law cared and was patient. One day, Yoon-jong accidentally cut her hand while cooking. It wasn't a serious injury, but it bled a little. My mother-in-law saw that and endured it. If it were before, Yoon-jong would have run over to check her hand and put a bandage on it. But instead, she asked, Mom, I felt like my mother-in-law wanted to say something, but she was holding back. Huh? Oh, Yoon-jong, are your hands okay? But yes, Mom, if it's uncomfortable. Let me know. It seems like you're just enduring it. My mother-in-law gave a wry smile. No, if Mom comes out too uncomfortable. Mother, Yoon-jong realized. Mother, please tell me how hard your mother-in-law is trying to accommodate your request. What should I make for dinner tonight? Is there anything you'd like to eat? It was a question I would never have asked in the past, because I was afraid of what my mother-in-law would say about my cooking. But now it's different. Yoonjeon began to open up as she felt her mother-in-law respected her space. "I'll make you the food you like, Mom. But if there's anything I'd ask you?" My mother-in-law's face brightened. Of course. That evening, the two cooked together in the kitchen. But this time it was different. The mother-in-law only answered when her daughter-in-law asked questions, and Yoonjeon accepted her mother-in-law's advice with ease. "Mom, when do I add this seasoning?" "Well, it's better to put it in when the meat is half cooked." "Oh, I see. Thank you." A natural conversation ensued. By request, not coercion, by sharing, not invading, the two began to gradually build a new relationship. A few days later, Yoonjeon called her mother-in-law. "Mom, are you free next week?" "Huh? Why?" "There's a new cafe near my house. Really delicious. I want to go there with my mom." The mother-in-law was surprised. It was the first time my daughter-in-law had suggested spending time with me. "Really? Then, are you busy?" "Yes. Is that okay? I'd like to have a nice chat with your mother." After hanging up the phone, my mother-in-law sat there smiling for a long time. I felt my daughter-in-law's heart. As I took a step back, my daughter-in-law also took a step closer. On the promised day, Yoonjeon and her mother-in-law met at a cafe. It was a small, nicely decorated cafe, and when I sat by the window, the sunlight poured. They ordered cake and coffee and chatted about this and that. Not housework, not cooking, just everyday stories. Yoonjeon's work stories, her mother-in-law's neighborhood. Friend stories, stories about a drama she recently watched. "Mom, how are you doing these days?" I didn't have the luxury of asking questions like this. I was always nervous when I was with my mother-in-law, and I wanted time to pass quickly. But now I'm really curious. What does your mother-in-law do when she is alone? Is she lonely? Is she in good health? Oh, me? I'm fine. I meet up with my neighborhood friends sometimes and exercise at the community center, my mother-in-law said, talking about her daily life. Yoonjeon learned for the first time that going to her son's house wasn't the only joy, that she had her own life. "Still, I get lonely sometimes. I've gotten used to living alone since your father passed away. But still sometimes." My mother-in-law's voice grew quiet. Yoonjeon held her mother-in-law's hand. "Mother, if you're lonely, come anytime, we miss you too." "Really? But I'm worried you'll be uncomfortable if I go." "Too often. It's okay now. Mom takes good care of us too." Yoonjeon smiled. That smile was genuine. It wasn't a forced smile like before. "Mother, actually, I have a favor to ask." "Huh? What is it?" "Next time you come, could you please share your mother's recipe for the seaweed soup you make? I'd like to learn it too." My mother-in-law's eyes sparkled. "Myeok? That's easy. I'll teach you." Thank you, Mom, even if I'm not good at it, can you wait for me? I think it'll take some time for me to become as good as you. Just learn slowly. Everyone is clumsy at first. Daughter-in-law's hand tightly. The mother-in-law knew how grateful she was that her daughter-in-law wanted to learn something from her. Since then, my mother-in-law's visits have been different. In the past, as soon as you arrived, you would look around the house, organize things, and give advice. Now, you just sit comfortably, drink tea, and chat. "Mother, have a cup of tea, just relax today." "Yes, thank you," sat my mother-in-law on the sofa. Even though you watched your daughter-in-law cooking in the kitchen, you didn't step forward. However, when the daughter-in-law asked a question, he answered at that time. "Could you please check the seasoning for me?" "Just a moment." Yes, the mother-in-law went into the kitchen and offered some brief advice. "I wish you'd put a little more in. Thank you." And then he came back to the living room. You don't dominate the kitchen like you used to. Yoonjung has changed too. Since my mother-in-law didn't step forward, I asked more actively. Mom, how do you make this side dish? Mother, please tell me this. Then my mother-in-law happily told me. One day, when Minjin came home from work, he found his wife and mother laughing together while cooking. It was a scene I couldn't even imagine in the past. What good things are happening? Minjin asked. Yeah, today my mom taught me how to make japchae. You made it really delicious. Yoonjung said excitedly. Our daughter-in-law is learning quickly and is very dexterous. The mother-in-law also looked pleased. Minjin's heart warmed as he watched the two of them. It was a truly enjoyable dinner that night. Seeing these two people who had been so tense just a short while ago now laughing so sat around eating delicious food and chatting was not as awkward or tense as before. It was just comfortable and warm. Yoonjung, this is really delicious. Did you make it? My mother-in-law asked. Yes. I did as my mother told me. Hey, our daughter-in-law's cooking skills have improved. The mother-in-law smiled happily. In the past, he would give advice on his daughter-in-law's cooking, but now he just praises her. Because you knew that would give your daughter-in-law more strength. The seasons changed and time passed. The relationship between Yoonjung and her mother-in-law grew stronger. Now the two of them have come to truly understand and respect each other. The mother-in-law approved of her daughter-in-law's lifestyle. Even if the way you organize your refrigerator is different from yours, or even if the way you fold your laundry is different, you just think, that's Yoonjung's way. There were times when he wanted to give advice, but he held back unless his daughter-in-law asked him first. Yoonjung also respected her mother-in-law's experience. I asked questions without hesitation and gratefully accepted my mother-in-law's advice. Because it no longer felt like it was invading his territory. One day, Yoonjung caught a cold. I had a fever and felt sick, so I took a break from work. I was worried about Minjin, so I called his mother. Mom, Yoonjung is sick, but I'd like to take care of her. I'll go. Someone needs to be there to take care of the sick person. My mother-in-law came running. He came with porridge, fruit, and medicine in his hands. Is your mother here? Yoonjung tried to get out of bed. No, you should move. Your mother laid again and covered her with a blanket. Then he went to the kitchen and warmed up some porridge. Here, eat this while it's still warm. Mother. Yoonjung felt like crying as she ate the porridge. Fed her. I used to feel burdened by my mother-in-law's help, but now I just feel grateful and warm. The mother-in-law spent the whole day caring for her daughter-in-law. He brought me water, reminded me to take my medicine, and checked my forehead for fever, but he didn't interfere with me like he used to. You only gave your daughter-in-law what she needed. Mom, I'm fine. Go home and rest. No, I'll stay until you get better. Minjin has to work too. What will I do if I leave you alone? Mother, said Yoonjung. And the mother-in-law took her daughter-in-law's hand. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for being a good wife. To our Minjin. Mother, you are right. I mean, you are really good daughter-in-law. And she's a good daughter. Tears flowed from Yoonjung's eyes. When you're sick, your emotions tend to be more sensitive. My mother-in-law's warm words brought back all the emotions I had been building up. Mother, I am the one who should be thankful. To be honest, I felt a bit burdened by my mother. But now, you are truly precious to me. You are like a second mother to me. My mother-in-law's eyes also turned red. The two sat holding hands for a long time. Since that day, their relationship has deepened. Now we were not just daughter-in-law and mother-in-law, but a real family. My mother-in-law now only comes once or twice a month. You don't come here as often as you used to. Instead, every time you come, you have a really comfortable time. Yoonjung, I'm going to leave early today. You guys must be busy too. I won't bother you if I stay too long. There's more, Mother. No, I'll come back later. You two can spend some time together. The mother-in-law respected her daughters-in-law's time, because you know that if you stay there too often or for too long, it can be uncomfortable. Yoonjung also cherished her relationship with her mother-in-law. Even when it wasn't a holiday, I occasionally called my mother-in-law and sent her delicious food. Mother, I made something you like. I sent it to you by courier, so please accept it. Thank you, but you're so busy that you even bothered to do this. No, I made this because I was thinking of my mother. Now there was a warm exchange of feelings between the two. It wasn't a sense of duty or burden, but a genuine feeling of caring for each other. Minjin was really happy to see these two people. What could be more precious than seeing the two women you love most understand and respect each other? Honey, don't you think you and Mom are getting along a lot better? Minjin asked one night. Yeah, honestly, but now I was really hard at first. My mom is very considerate, and I understand her better. It was really hard for me because I didn't know what to do in the middle. You had a hard time too. It must not have been easy telling your mother. But it turned out well in the end. Minjin hugged his wife. Our family is truly a wonderful family. And happily, respecting and understanding each other. It wasn't perfect, but it felt more real. There were times when we had different opinions and times when I felt upset, but whenever that happened, I tried to talk honestly and understand. The mother-in-law said this to her daughter-in-law. Yoonjung, I'm so grateful to you, for trying to understand me. And for letting me live my life my way, Yoonjung replied. Mother, I am the one who should be thankful. You are a truly wonderful mother-in-law. For listening to my heart and respecting it. Small changes in mutual respect have smoothed out our relationship. And that warmth became this family's greatest happiness. How was your conversation today? The mother-in-law-daughter-in-law relationship is a difficult one for many families. Things that started out with good intentions can end up hurting you, and feelings that should be appreciated can feel like a burden. But as this story shows, if you just try to be a little honest and understand each other a little, your relationship can improve. What your mother-in-law needs is the courage to step back. I try to hold back a little from wanting to help and respect my daughter-in-law's way of doing things. What a daughter-in-law needs is the courage to be honest. Don't tolerate discomfort, but express your feelings with respect. And in between, the role of the son and husband is also important. It's about understanding both sides and becoming a bridge. There is no perfect relationship. But if you have the heart to understand and respect each other, you can create a good relationship. I hope your home is filled with this kind of warm understanding and respect. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. Share your experiences in the comments. See you in the next video.